This episode of the Dungeoncast has been brought to you by Hero Forge. Hero Forge has fully customizable tabletop miniatures with dozens of fantasy races and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build the perfect miniature online using a fully 3D in-depth character creator right in your web browser. There are plastic and metal options for your custom mini. And Hero Forge even offers downloadable model files for users to 3D print their unique designs at home. Plus, they're constantly expanding the catalog of customization options. They're adding new parts every week and major features like races and custom posing on a regular basis. All you have to do is go to heroforge.com and you can start designing your custom mini today. It's super easy. And don't forget to check back and visit them every now and again because they're always adding new content. One more time, that's heroforge.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Will.
I'm Brian.
This is a podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, from salty sea dogs to seductive sirens. And today, we're talking about Sphinxes.
The Dungeoncast.
Hey Brian.
Hey Will.
Hey.
What's up, dude? Welcome to another episode of the Dungeoncast.
Yep, this is the third one we're recording today.
We're back, baby.
And today we're talking about Sphinxes. So what do you know about Sphinxes, Brian?
I know that a bunch of British people shot at it with their guns a lot.
You're talking about the Great Sphinx of Giza.
Yeah, but I did listen to the portion.
I thought it was the French.
It was a bunch of people, dude.
I think it was one instance, and it was the French, I'm pretty sure.
You could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I could be wrong. You're right.
And you could be right. And I don't fucking know. I know somebody shot at with guns. That's fine. And it's not fine, but like it's...
But that's what happened.
It's what happened, though.
So
that's
what do
all
you
I
know about the creature?
I did listen to, believe it or not, the portion of Critical Role I listened to involved a Sphinx.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
Nice.
And they had to solve its riddles.
Yeah, that's a common thing with Sphinxes.
Okay, cool. So spoilers for Critical Role. Sorry, there's a Sphinx involved at some point.
Well, yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what constitutes a spoiler for Critical Role.
Sphinxes are a species of intelligent and immortal magical beasts, though 5e has listed them under the monstrosity category.
Sure.
They are depicted as creatures with the body of a lion, head of a humanoid, and wings of an eagle, although there are subspecies with different variations of animal heads.
Okay.
They are mysterious and powerful beings with innate magic and wisdom endowed upon them in their very creation by the gods.
Okay.
The current edition of D&D has them written as beings of divine intent, and they have some small similarity with angels.
Okay.
They are directly based upon the in real life mythological being of the same name from Greek and Egyptian mythologies. They are famed for their guardianship over sacred treasures, forbidden knowledge, and holy places, and for their telling of riddles.
Okay.
They are considered to be lawful creatures erring on the side of good.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
I mean, why do they tell riddles? Is there a reason why they are into making you really use your brain for it?
Because Greek mythology, Brian.
Just because.
When it comes to the legends of the Sphinx in real life, most common stories are based off the tales of Greek mythology.
Okay.
Despite the concept of the Sphinx as a cryptozoological entity dating back since the days of ancient Egypt, most famously with the Great Sphinx of Giza, the construction of which is estimated to have happened around approximately 2500 BC, which predates the Greeks by 1300 years at least?
Math.
Something like that. I can do math. That might be off. But either way, by a long time. In Greek mythology, the Sphinx was not the name of a species, but of a singular creature. And unlike D&D, not one of good intent, but an entity of destruction and bad luck.
Okay.
She was considered to be the offspring of Typhon and Echidna, who are usually blamed for birthing most of the monsters in the Greek mythos. We've talked about this multiple times. This iteration of the Sphinx physically matches the D&D Sphinx pretty closely, with some sources adding the tail of a serpent to the leonine body.
All right.
They seem to really like serpent tails.
It's like Chimera-esque in the way it's mashed up.
Yeah, kind of. Which is pretty common with a lot of ancient mythological monsters.
Yeah. It's got the fucking hands of a hill giant.
Go on.
And the feet of a tiger.
Okay, well, that went somewhere. The Sphinx was featured in the story of Oedipus, which is a fairly infamous and messed up tale.
Oh, yeah.
It was said that Hera or Ares sent the Sphinx to the city of Thebes to punish its people/king for various transgressions against the gods. Here, the Sphinx was ordered to ask all who would enter the city what is now likely the most famous riddle in all of history. She strangled and devoured anyone who could not answer the riddle, which, of course, no one could manage to solve because this is a story about the Greek gods fucking people over.
This is a story about killing a town's worth of people.
Yeah. This had the... go ahead.
I was going to say the most famous riddle I know is the two statues riddle. where one tells the truth and one only
Oh,
lies.
yeah, that's a good one. You've probably heard this one too, which I'll tell in a second. This had the terrible effect of decimating any kind of travel and or commerce into or out of the city, bringing the Theban populace to its knees.
Can't go there. You're going to get asked a riddle. You're not going to be able to solve it.
And you're going to get eaten.
Die.
Yeah. So this unsolvable riddle was, which creature has one voice yet becomes 4-footed and 2-footed and 3-footed? Have you heard this one before?
Which creature has one voice but becomes 1-footed, 2-footed, and 3-footed?
4-footed,
4-footed,
2-footed, 3-footed.
In that order. Okay, I don't have time to dissect.
I just gave you more than the actual riddle gives you.
I take a lot of time with my riddles, and I dissect them, and I find which piece of it is the misdirection. So if you give me infinite time, I can solve riddles, but I cannot solve them without knowing the answer.
I mean, if you give anyone infinite time, they'll solve the riddle.
I hope so. Some people I feel like I'm giving infinite time cannot solve riddles.
Well, I'm not going to go over the story of Oedipus, but when the dude gets to Thebes, he is met by the Sphinx and her riddle.
I remember that part.
And because he is the hero of his own tragic tale, he solves the riddle by answering, man, who crawls on all fours as a baby.
Oh, that's right.
Then walks on 2 feet as an adult, and then uses a walking stick in old age.
Yeah.
So you have heard this one before?
Yeah, I've heard this one before.
Okay, that's what I thought. Bested at last, the Sphinx then threw herself from her high rock and died.
Well, shit.
In an alternative version of the story, the Sphinx actually devours herself. Regardless, little did Oedipus know that he should have just turned around and gone home, because by defeating the Sphinx, he was named the king of Thebes and given the ex-king's widow Jocasta as a bride. Unbeknownst to either of them at the time, she was and is his own mother. This eventually is figured out by the characters and leads to the mother's suicide and Oedipus blinding himself with needles and just a really bad time all around.
Yeah, it depends on which version of the story, like how it ends, like who's stabbing who in the eyes, and
the end,
etc. The end.
Back to D&D Sphinxes.
Please.
So the Sphinxes we are going to primarily discuss today are the Androsphinx and the Gynosphinx. These are the more humanoidish species and the ones most people are most familiar with. There are 2 others, the Criosphinx and the Herocosphinx, which are much more animalistic, but there isn't too much to say about them from the current edition, so I'd like to revisit them when hopefully D&D 5e gives them a nice write-up.
Okay.
Yeah. So Androsphinxes and Gynosphinxes are technically 2 different subspecies of Sphinx, but in practical terms, they're essentially just the male and female counterparts of the same species.
So when you say these are the most familiar with people, I'm only familiar with like the ancient Egyptian Sphinx.
Right, which would be a Gynosphinx.
And you called this is humanoid-ish? So is it
I just mean that they have the heads of humans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
That's what
then I still have the right picture
you
in
do.
my head.
You really do.
Okay.
Andro being the ancient Greek word for male and gyno being the ancient Greek word for female. Both types of sphinxes are large creatures with muscular lion-like bodies and the great wings of an eagle sweeping along their flanks. Mm-hmm. Their heads are a mix between human and lion, but unlike a manticore whose man-lion face is very monstrous and ugly to behold, sphinxes have notably noble and aesthetic features to their visage. Wisdom and majesty are words that come to mind when describing the look of a sphinx.
Absolutely.
I like your confidence.
Majestic as fuck.
Yeah, they're super majestic. They're quite intimidating, and we should take a short rest.
Okay. Hey everybody, be sure to check out
Super Quest Saga, a future fantasy 5th edition D&D actual play podcast homebrewed and dungeon mastered by yours truly, me, and Set in Space.
And I play in it, along with your special guest Jake and friend of the show, Josh Freeland.
You can find it on YouTube, iTunes, or anywhere else you can get your podcasts.
Super Quest Saga!
We've returned.
We've returned.
We have. And we're talking about sphinxes. So early editions depicted sphinxes as somewhat of this in-between of intelligent wild animals and wandering sages.
Okay.
They did not have this tie to divinity and law that is the current lore, and they were not bound to a single location on some guardian mandate.
Like some wandering spirit.
Yeah, they weren't really well explained in any source I could find that predated 5e. I was really surprised, actually.
So they're mysterious, even to the dungeon master.
Indeed. So instead, every sphinx's motivation and behavior was unique, much like that of actual people. Many were noted to wander the lands on their own solitary journeys, some seeking wealth and a lair, others seeking knowledge and power, others simply seeking solitude and peace as they spend their days hunting in the wilds. Not a lot was ever really written about their psychology or behavior in source books previous to 5e, and what was written is a bit weird.
Okay.
So no one really knows what Andro Sphinxes do, except that they're the strongest amongst Sphinxes and that they hate people, and they also are resentful of Gyno Sphinxes because Gyno Sphinxes are smarter than them.
Okay.
By a lot.
Okay.
And so they're really resentful.
They're mad about it.
Insofar as to despise riddles, since Gyno Sphinxes like them so much. They avoid Gyno Sphinxes like the plague unless their more carnal nature ends up, winning out.
Andro Sphinxes sound like Menonists.
Menonists?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Gyno Sphinxes, on the other hand, were said to spend most of their lives doing 3 things, essentially. Gyno Sphinxes, only known to do 3 things before 5e. 1, avoid being raped by Cryo Sphinxes and Heracro Sphinxes.
Okay.
2, pursuing Andro Sphinxes who rapidly are trying to avoid them for the purposes of mating. And number 3, learn dope shit about history, magic, and lore about the layers that they've made for themselves in ancient ruins.
Hell yeah, I love this.
The third one's cool. The other 2 are weird.
I mean, it makes sense that they would be doing it, that they were trying to avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sucks that the lore is the number one thing they're doing most of the time is running from being raped.
Yeah, that sucks. That does suck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not weird that you would run from that. It's weird that it is written this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, now we're on the same page.
It's weird that is like,
I was like, is it really that weird?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
So 5e's, I feel, has done a really good job of glowing up the Sphinx. Now they are very powerful, innately magical divine beings created by gods for specific purposes, namely guardianship.
Cool.
In sacred isolation, a Sphinx guards the secrets and treasures of the gods. As it calmly regards each new party that comes before it, the bones of supplicants and quest seekers that have failed to pass the test lie scattered around its layers, so parties know what the fuck is happening here.
Do we know which gods?
Any gods
can make a Sphinx? He's like, I got a secret, dude.
Yeah.
I really got to tell somebody, better make a Sphinx.
It's not specified. Sphinxes tend to be lawful good, so it's mostly good deities.
Okay.
But yeah, so Sphinxes test the worth of those who seek the treasure of the gods, whether forgotten secrets or mighty spells, artifacts, or magical gateways. Creatures that choose to face a Sphinx's test are divinely bound to that test unto death, and only those worthy will survive it. The rest the Sphinx destroys. Some Sphinxes are actually high priests of the gods that created them, but most are simply embodied spirits brought to the mortal realm by devout prayer or direct intervention.
That's fucking cool.
A Sphinx maintains its vigil tirelessly, not needing to sleep or eat. It rarely engages with others of its kind, knowing no other life except its own sacred mission.
Yeah, it's just like holed up, and it's they're usually in something pretty extravagant, right? Like as far as a house.
Yeah. They're in a layer, so they usually have like a great chamber in which they dwell.
A dungeon-esque sort of.
Yeah.
A maneuverable maze of mayhem.
Like a holy temple, like pyramid or something.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Okay.
So usually the secrets and treasures of Sphinx guards remain under another layer of divine protection, so that when a creature fails a Sphinx's test, the path to the object or knowledge it guards vanishes.
Okay.
This way, even if a Sphinx is, even like if someone fails and the Sphinx attacks and then the Sphinx gets murked, the quester will still fail to gain the secret that they sought and will make an enemy of the god that places Sphinx as a guardian.
Yeah, you have to solve its
You have to solve its riddle or fuck off.
Or fuck off or kill it or whatever.
Right. Benign deities sometimes grant a Sphinx the power to remove supplicants that fail their tests rather than doling out a strict sentence of murder, transporting them away and ensuring that they never encounter the Sphinx again. However, this is atypical, and most of those who fail a Sphinx's test typically meet a gruesome end beneath its claws.
Yeah, it's super powerful, right?
It's very powerful.
You don't want to fuck with this thing without
being... want to fuck with
You have to have your mental faculties, because I think in most cases you're going in there and it wants to fight you, and you have to solve its riddle during...
Well, I don't think it wants to fight you.
Well, it will fight.
It is duty-bound to fight you.
Here's some more... Yeah, duty-bound. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. So you have to fight it and answer the riddle. So you're like...
Oh, no, usually you answer the riddle, and then you're good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
if you fail, it's going to try and eat you.
So here's the Critical Role spoiler then.
Oh.
They fought it and had to answer the riddle during the combat.
Really?
It was like part of the riddle was to solve it under pressure, I think.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and they had to jump through like
was it a male Sphinx? It was a male Sphinx.
I think it was a male Sphinx.
Yeah. I'm gonna answer why. I knew that in a minute.
Okay, sure, sure.
So the 5th edition Androsphinx and Gynosphinx physically match the previous descriptions I gave, but there are still some noted differences between the two genders outside of appearance. Androsphinxes tend to be outwardly gruff and downcast in character. They often begin conversations with insults or negative observations, but beneath this gruff exterior, however, an Androsphinx is a being with a noble heart. They have no wish to lie or deceive, and thus practically never do so, but they are also very guarded with information and truth. Thus, they are known to choose their words as wisely as they guard their secrets. Usually, Androsphinxes give tests of courage and valor to supplicants, not only by forcing them to complete harrowing quests, but also with its terrible roar, which echoes for miles as it terrifies and deafens nearby creatures.
Oh, shit.
So that's the type of Sphinx that would want to put you through like a physically harrowing situation.
Man, I hate shit that has the capability of like blowing out my eardrums like that.
Well,
that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
I'm glad I don't encounter too much of that in my normal day-to-day.
Indeed. So Gynosphinxes are known to have incredibly wise, penetrating, and shrewd dispositions. A Gynosphinx's eyes are capable of seeing beyond the present time and place and penetrating veils of visibility and magic.
Ooh.
Supplicants who look deep into the eyes might find themselves magically displaced, banished to some far-flung plane where a difficult trial awaits them. This mechanically is reflected in their spellcasting list.
Cool. Never underestimate a Gynosphinx's intuition.
Indeed. Gynosphinxes are virtual libraries of knowledge and lore. They ask riddles and present puzzles to test the wit and intelligence of supplicants that come to learn their secrets.
Okay.
Some are even willing to bargain with such supplicants for treasure or service, but of course, never for their sacred ward.
God, this role play for a Sphinx, the male or female, sounds like fucking rough.
I mean, it sounds, you just have to be really stoic and mysterious.
Yes, or insulting. You have to be a giant asshole.
Yeah, you could be like, I guess, you don't have to be a giant asshole, but you could just...
You could be an asshole that's very large.
You meet people who are just kind of... I mean, you meet people in life who are just slightly negative. It's not that they're an asshole. It's just they note things in a slightly negative way. That's how Androsphinx speaks.
Coming in here with your filthy armor. You didn't even clean your armor first.
No, that's complaining.
Sphinx.
That's complaining. I'm a fucking Sphinx. Okay, do you got any questions about Sphinxes before we move on to these, to the lair actions? This one has lair actions.
I want to know about the lair.
Okay, me too. I haven't read this yet.
Okay, read it to me, Will. Let's learn together.
A Sphinx presides over an ancient temple, sepulcher, or vault within which are hidden divine secrets and treasures beyond the reach of mortals.
Okay.
Lair actions, initiative count 20. All layers do that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 options the Sphinx can do at this point. So number 1, the flow of time is altered such that every creature in the lair must reroll initiative. The Sphinx can choose not to reroll.
Okay.
So this is
That's
the
awesome.
Sphinx's house, including the time space that exists in this house.
It's like got off to a slow start. It's like, I don't like this.
I don't like this. Do it again. Yeah. The effect, number 2. The effects of time are altered such that every creature in the lair must succeed a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or become 1d20 years older or younger, the Sphinx's choice, but never any younger than 1 year old. Oh, thank God for that.
I think you have to greater restoration that away.
A greater restoration spell can restore a creature's age to normal. So you best know that shit now and best not be a baby.
I hope you know enough about life that you might get age warped and then know how to fix it if you're going into a Sphinx lair.
Indeed. Number 3, the flow of time. It's all the flow of time. The flow of time within the layer is altered such that everything within moves up to 10 years forward or backward, Sphinx's choice, in time.
What the fuck? So the outside world?
Yeah. So like, yes. Only the Sphinx is immediately aware of the time change. A wish spell can return the caster and up to 7 other creatures designated by the caster to the normal time. Don't fuck with a Sphinx.
You got a 9-person party. This is a tough choice.
Do not fuck with a Sphinx.
The time displace your ass.
Yeah. The Sphinx, the last one. The Sphinx shifts itself and up to 7 other creatures it can see within its lair to another plane of existence. Once outside its lair, the Sphinx can't use lair actions, but it can return to its lair as a bonus action on its turn, taking up to 7 creatures with it. So it can just drop you over a pit of lava and just be done with you.
Okay.
Later.
I survived being dropped. I had a character that survived being dropped into a pit of lava, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We did it together. You dropped me in the pit of lava.
When did I do that?
It was a battle royale.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. So much happened in that battle. I vaguely remember anything.
Mm-hmm. I did take lava damage.
Yeah,
you can
did
live.
but like you landed in like a shallow lava stream. I'm talking about into the heart of a volcano.
That sucks. That sounds shitty.
Into like the pits of Avernus. Anyways, let's talk about the stat blocks. Which one do you want to hear first? Andro or Gyno?
Andro, since that's the order we talked about it.
Andro Sphinx. Large monstrosity, lawful neutral. Armor class 17. Hit points 199. This is a challenge rating 17. This is
That's a big
fucking
boy.
powerful monster. Strength 22, dexterity 10, constitution 20, intelligence 16, wisdom 18, charisma 23. Damage immunities. It's immune to psychic damage, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. It's immune.
Poison?
No. It's immune to being charmed, and it's immune to being frightened. It has true sight, 120 feet.
Okay.
And it has a feature called inscrutable. The Sphinx is immune to any effects that would sense its emotions or read its thoughts, as well as any divination spell that it refuses. Wisdom, insight checks made to ascertain the Sphinx's intentions or sincerity have disadvantage.
Okay. So there's a good handful of spells that do those types of things.
Yeah. The Sphinx's weapon attacks with its claws and teeth are considered to be magical. And the Andro Sphinx has these spells at its disposal. Sacred Flame, Spare the Dying, Thaumaturgy, Command, Detect Evil and Good, Detect Magic, Lesser Restoration, Zone of Truth, Dispel Magic, Tongues, Banishment, Freedom of Movement, Flame Strike, Greater Restoration, and Hero's Feast.
Wow. Okay. That's some good stuff.
That's a lot of spells.
Well, Hero's Feast is fucking cool. So if the Sphinx wants to like assist the people that solve its riddle to go do the next thing, they can Hero's Feast.
Good job. Here's a feast.
Here's a Hero's Feast. Now go kill the next guy.
Right.
Bye.
The Sphinx.
Also, it's 10 years in the future.
Oh, God, that would suck. Multi-attack. Sphinx makes 2 claws attack. So this is the only melee attack it has. Claw does plus 12 to hit, 2d10 plus 6 slashing damage. And then it has its big move, which is Roar, which you can do 3 times a day.
Okay.
The Sphinx emits a magical roar. Each time it roars before finishing a long rest, the roar is louder and the effect is different, as detailed below.
Okay.
Each creature within 500 feet of the Sphinx and able to hear the roar must make a saving throw.
That's a lot of range.
Yep. First roar. Each creature that fails a DC 18 wisdom saving throw is frightened for 1 minute. A frightened creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success.
Frightened causes you can't approach the creature.
Yeah.
You're magically scared.
Yep. Second roar. Each creature that fails a DC 18 wisdom saving throw is deafened and frightened for 1 minute. A frightened creature is paralyzed and can't repeat the save. Oh, so this you're just straight paralyzed.
Wow.
You can't repeat the saving throw until the end of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Third roar. Each creature makes a DC 18 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 8d10 thunder damage and is knocked prone.
Okay,
On
I
a
was like,
successful
you become an ochre jelly or whatever.
Oh, right. The creature takes half as much damage and isn't knocked prone on a success.
Okay.
It also has some legendary actions, so it can make an extra claw attack. It also has a teleport. Sphinx magically teleports along with any equipment it is wearing or carrying up to 120 feet to an unoccupied space that it can see. And lastly, it can spend all 3 of its legendary action points to cast a spell. Sphinx casts a spell from its list of prepared spells. So an extra spell. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right, that's the Andro Sphinx. Any questions before we move on?
No, let's get to the Gyno Sphinx.
The Gyno Sphinx. Large monstrosity, lawful neutral. This is a challenge rating 11. Wow, that's a huge disparity.
Yeah, really.
Let me see. What's HP disparity? So the Andro Sphinx had 199. Gyno Sphinx has 136.
Okay, so respectable at 199, but very much less so at
136. Yeah, let's see what else it has in store. Basically, it has all the stats. All the stats are in similar range, but all the physical stats are slightly weaker, and all the mental stats, except for charisma, are higher.
Okay.
Let me see here. Same resistances of bludgeoning and piercing and slashing damage. Rather than being resist. Oh, no. I'm sorry. So the Andro Sphinx is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical things. The Gyno Sphinx is only resistant.
Okay, so you can't even go up against Andro without magic weapons.
Yeah.
If you're a melee.
Yeah, he's similar to like a Solar Angel, I suppose.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they both have immunity to psychic damage and both have immunity to being charmed and frightened. They both have that inscrutable feature, which means you can't read their fucking minds no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Their weapon attacks are both considered magical. Spellcasting list is a bit more magic or arcanely leaning for the Gyno Sphinx versus the more divine leaning the Andro Sphinx was.
Okay.
So the spell list is Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, Detect Magic, Identify Shield, Darkness, Locate Object, Suggestion, Dispel Magic, Remove Cursed Tongues, Banishment, Greater Invisibility, and Legend Lore. I don't even know what that spell is.
Okay. I mean, these are kind of more...
divination.
Utility, divination. Yeah.
Divination spells. Yeah. The claw attack is a +8 to hit, 2d8 +4. She can make 2, and then she has legendary actions: extra claw attack, the teleport, or extra spell.
Cool.
So yeah, those are the Sphinx stat blocks. What do you thoughts, questions, concerns?
The Andro Sphinx. That sounds like a really hard fight. Actually.
Yeah, hell yeah, that roar is fucking brutal.
And then
because it's gonna be everyone every time.
And then the Lair doing its thing, which is like kind of more. So if you age someone 20 years, right? Like, are you hitting their stats? What are you doing?
I mean, I think that depends. I don't know if there's any rules on like going from 40 to 60.
Yeah,
but
like what
if
is
your
the time?
dude's 50 and 55 and now he's 75, like there's got to be some ability to score hits because it's like, I mean, you just can't maintain that muscle mass.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, how does are they traveling your whole essence through time, or is it like they're just aging your body? That 10
aging
years?
Your body. Yeah.
That's it, though, right? So
think
if you just age my body, it's not like I didn't work out yesterday.
Sure, but that's what I mean is like you can't maintain the muscle mass.
Yeah,
at that age,
but you have it.
Yeah, but now it's all been aged 75 years. I mean, okay, if we really want to break this down, aging anybody by anything more than a month should just kill them.
Right,
because
you atrophy them completely.
Yeah, because like your body basically went through all that time without getting the sustenance it needs to maintain itself over that period of time.
Yeah.
Like you would be a dried out husk.
So that was my other question with like time travel because like time travel is weird.
Time travel is weird. I'm glad we solved that puzzle.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, how does traveling 10 years in the past like affect? Are you gonna like?
Guess you'd be younger and stronger. If that's what you were.
The characters also became 10 years younger. So like everything went back in time.
Oh
10 years?
No. You mean actually traveling?
Yeah, the
time,
outside world became.
Yeah, you've traveled through time.
Okay, so then you have to avoid yourself 10 years ago, so you don't create like a paradox
if the Sphinx
or whatever.
did that, although I think a Sphinx is more likely to go the other direction.
Yeah, because it's easier.
Yeah.
Just to like jump ahead.
Exactly.
And then you have to like.
Because that would be weird. Like you go back into the past and you're all in the same room. So now there's 2 Sphinxes. Oh, that's fucked up. You best run for your life.
Is there 2 Sphinxes? Like that's what I'm saying. This is the argument I'm trying to bring up. Is like, how does your time travel work? You need to know if you're going to implement this creature into your world.
Yeah, that's true.
Because no one knows how real time travel works. Really,
no, not really.
So you can figure it out
on your own time.
Go watch Terminator.
We're gonna take a long rest. It's long rest time.
Okay,
I'm tired.
I got my prize slippies on. They're shiny. They've got gift wrap kind of still on them a little bit. The tag's still on these slippies. Let's go. It's prize bedtime. We're doing a contest.
Okay. Cool segue. Yeah, we're doing a contest, guys. We're giving away 3 copies of the D&D Essentials Kit. And if you want one, all you have to do is share our show on the internet, specifically on Twitter. If you use the hashtag Dungeoncast, I will enter you into the contest. On June 7th, I will be announcing the 3 winners. So if you're looking to get into D&D, this is a good place to start. If you're looking to get someone else into D&D, this is a good gift to give them. Yeah. It's basically the D&D starter set, but better.
I would say so. It looks cool. It's got fresh new art on it. You can find us at the Dungeoncast on Twitter. That's Will manages that account. I manage the Instagram account. You can find us at the Dungeoncast. Yeah, just hashtag Dungeoncast on Twitter. Tell somebody about the show. On Instagram, find the post relevant to this contest and tag 2 people in it and tell them that it's time to play some Dungeons & Dragons. Finally, get an Essentials Kit if you enter this contest. But our other normal rules apply when you're entering our contest. As long as you can prove to us that you have shared the show, which is like we're just trying to get the word out. That's the best way to help the show.
Indeed.
So we want to help you. If you help us help you. All that shit.
Help us, help you, help us.
Help us, help you, help us. We're gonna enter you if you send us like an email, thedungeoncast@gmail.com. You can send us an email with a screenshot or something proving that you shared it on Facebook, or I don't know what else you're doing out there. Did you make a TikTok about us? Fucking
that'd be cool.
Let me see it, I guess.
Sure.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just prove to us in some fashion that you shared our show. But yeah. Pretty much their specific rules for Twitter and Instagram. Do that. If you didn't hear that Super Quest Saga is going to have episodes returning to the internet on sometime in June, early June, then you're
hearing it now.
You're hearing it now.
It's coming back in June, early June.
Tell your friends that the Saga returns.
And with that being said, I think we can call it a game.
Bye.
Talk to you guys later. Maybe we should have gone with SPH words like spherical spheres. I couldn't think of the second one, but spherical. Well, sphincters. I don't want to use that word either. Never mind. We're good. We're good. Let's just do this.
Oh my god! I'm so glad I was recording that.
Oh, for sure. Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome
Cool.
to the end of the episode.
Cool. Hey. Let's talk about some Sphinxes.
No, God.
Oh, God, I can't get this thing to bounce. What the fuck? Grumps to save the day. There we go. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
We're recording? Recording?
Yeah.
All right.